Now, let's proceed to the rule number 16, action by giveaway vessels. Every vessel which is directed to keep out of the way of another vessel shall so far as possible take an early action to keep well and clear. So if you are a giveaway vessel, so making an alteration or an early movement, or should I say an action to make the area or the way a clear from the risk of collision. Rule number 17, action by stand-on vessel. First, when one of two vessels is keep out of the way of the other vessel shall keep her course and speed. 2. The latter vessel may however take action to avoid collision by her maneuver alone as soon as it becomes apparent to her that a vessel required to keep out of the way is not taking appropriate action in compliance with this rule. So if your vessel is a stand-on vessel, you should keep your speed and course. You should keep your speed and course and pointing out the same direction, because the giveaway vessel will make an alteration to and keeping out of the way to avoid collision by the maneuver alone. Rule number 18, responsibilities between vessels. A power-driven vessel's underway shall keep out of the way if a vessel not under command, a vessel restricted in her ability to maneuver alone, a vessel engaged in fishing, a sailing vessel underway shall keep out of the way, a vessel not under command, a vessel restricted in her maneuverability, a vessel engaged in fishing. Paragraph letter C. A vessel engaged in fishing when underway shall, so far as possible, keep out of the way. First is a vessel not under command, a vessel restricted in her maneuver. Next is paragraph letter D. Any vessel under that other than a vessel not under command, or a vessel restricted in her ability to maneuver shall, if circumstances of case admit, so it should avoid impeding the safe passage of the vessels. Number 2, a vessel constrained by her draught shall navigate with particular caution, having a full regard to her special condition. So now let's proceed to the section 3 of these rules, which is conduct of vessels in restricted visibilities. So the first rule is the rule number 19, which is conduct of vessels in restricted visibility. So these rules applies to all vessels not in sight of one another when navigating in or near an area of restricted visibility. So every vessel shall proceed at a safe speed adapted to the prevailing circumstances and condition of having a restricted visibility. So a power-driven vessel shall have their engines ready to an immediate maneuver. Next, so every vessel shall have due regard to the prevailing circumstances or conditions of restricted visibility, complying with the rules of section 1 of this part. So a vessel which detects by radar alone that the presence of another vessel shall determine if a close quarter situation is developing, a risk of collision exists. If so, she shall take an avoiding action in ample time, provided that when such action consists of alteration of course, so far as possible, the following shall be avoided. So, on having a restricted visibility, so ra- radar plotting or using the radar is very important because anytime in a restricted visibility, the radar can detect a close quarter vessel that is having a direction going to your vessel also. Next, except when it has been determined that a risk of collision does not exist, every vessel which hears apparently forward of her beam and fog signals of another vessel or which cannot avoid a close quarter situation with another vessel forward of her beam shall reduce her speed to the minimum and which she can keep on her course. So she shall, if necessary, take all her way off and in any event navigate with extreme caution until the danger of collision is over. So now let's proceed to the part C of this rule, which is the lights and shapes. So rule number 20, the application of the part C. Rules in this part shall be complied with within the all-weather situation. The rules concerning the light shall be complied with from sunset to sunrise, and during such times no other light shall be exhibited except such lights as cannot be mistaken for the lights specified in these rules. So rule number 21, the definitions. So, masthead lights means a white light placed over the fore and aft center line of the vessel showing an unbroken light over an arc of the horizon. Towing lights means a yellow light having the same characteristics as the stern line defined in paragraph. So, all-round white light means a light showing an unbroken light over an arc of horizon of 360 degrees. Flashing lights means a light flashing at irregular intervals of 120 flashes or more than per minute. So now, let's proceed to rule number 22, visibility of lights. The lights prescribed in this rule shall have intensity as specified in the section 8. So as to be visible at the following minimum ranges, in vessels of 50 meters or more than in length, a masthead lights 6 miles, a side lights 3 miles, a stern lights 3 miles, a towing lights 3 miles, a white, red, green, or yellow all-round lights in 3 miles. In vessels of 12 meters or more in the length but less than 50 meters, a masthead lights of 5 miles except where the length of the vessels is less than 20 meters, 3 miles. A side lights of 2 miles, a stern lights of 2 miles, a towing lights of 2 miles, a white, red, green, or yellow all-round lights in 2 miles. In vessels of less than 12 meters in length, a masthead lights of 2 miles, a side lights of 1 mile, a stern lights of 2 miles, a towing lights of 2 miles, a white, red, green, and yellow all-round light in 2 miles. In inconspicuous parties of merged vessels or object being towed, a white light all-round lights in 3 miles. Now, rule number 23, power-driven vessels underway. A power-driven vessel underway shall exhibit a masthead light forward, a second masthead light above or higher than the forward one, except that a vessels of less than 50 meters in length shall not be obliged to exhibit such light. Side lights and stern lights. B. An air cushion vessel when operating in the non-displacement mode shall, in addition to the lights prescribed in paragraph A of this rule, exhibit an all-round flashing yellow lights. Letter C. A wing craft only when taking off, landing, and in flight near the surface shall, in addition to the parts prescribed in paragraph. Letter A. Of this rule, exhibit a high intensity all-round flashing red lights. A power-driven vessel of less than 12 meters in length may the lights prescribed in paragraph may be used. So, of this rule exhibit paragraph letter A of this rule of exhibit an all-round white lights and side lights. A power-driven vessels of less than 7 meters in length would expose maximum of not exceeding 7 knots may use the lights prescribed in the paragraph letter A of this rule exhibit an all-round white lights and shall, if practicable, also exhibit side lights. The mast headlight of or all-round white light on a power-driven vessel of less than 17 meters in length may be displaced from the fore and aft center line of the vessel if center line fitting is not practicable in provide that the side lights are combined in one lantern which shall be carried on the fore and aft center line of the vessel or located as nearly as practicable in the same fore and aft line of the masthead light or the all-round white light. So now rule number 24, towing and pushing. A power-driven vessel when towing shall exhibit instead of light prescribed in rule number 23 two masthead lights in vertical. When the length of the tow measuring from the stern of the towing vessel to the after end of the tow exceeds 200 meters, 3 such lights in vertical lines. Side lights, a stern lights, a towing lights in a vertical lines above the stern lights. When the length of the tow exceeds of 200 meters, a diamond shape when it can best be seen. Rule number 25, sailing vessels underway and vessels under oar. A sailing vessel underway shall exhibit side lights and a stern lights. And a vessel under oars may exhibit the lights prescribed in this rule for sailing vessels, but if she does not, she shall have ready at hand an electric torch or lighted lantern showing a white light, which shall be exhibited in sufficient time to prevent collision. Next rule is the rule number 26, which is fishing vessels. A vessel engaged in fishing, whether underway or at anchor, shall exhibit the only lights and shape prescribed in this rule. A vessel when engaged in trolling, by which it's meant dragging through the water of dredge net or other apparatus used in fishing, shall exhibit 2 all-round white lights in vertical, where the green is in the upper and lower is on and the lower is white, or E2 shapes consisting of cones with their apexes together in a vertical line one above another. A masthead light above of higher than all-round green lights. Next, when making way through the water, in addition to the prescribed in these paragraphs, side lights and stern lights. Rule number 27 is vessel not under command or is restricted in their ability to maneuver. So, a vessel not under command shall exhibit 2 all-round red lights in a vertical line where it can best be seen, 2 balls or similar to shapes in vertical lines where they can best be seen. And number 3, when making way through the water, in addition to the lights prescribed in this paragraph, side lights and stern lights. Rule number 28, vessels constrained by their draught. A vessel constrained by the drill may, in addition to the lights prescribed for the power-driven vessels in Rule 23, exhibit where they can best be seen three all-round red lights and vertical line or in a cylinder form. So the rule number 29 is a pilot vessels. A vessels engaged in pilotage might be exhibit at or near the masthead lights, two all-round lights in a vertical line, upper being white and the lower being red. When underway, in addition is side lights and stern lights like the other ship. And number 3, when at anchor, in addition to the prescribed in the subparagraph 1, the lights or shapes prescribed in number 30 for the vessels at anchor. Rule number 30, anchored vessels and vessels aground. A vessel at anchor should exhibit where it can best be seen in 4-part and is all-round white light or one ball. So if an anchored vessel is at near the stern at the lower part, that the light prescribed in subparagraph 1 and all-round white light. So these are the lights that a anchored vessel should exhibit. So it was being said in the vessels or a pilot vessel that these are the lights that a pilot vessel should exhibit when at anchor. So the last rule in the lights and shapes. So the rule number 31 in seaplanes. So for a seaplanes or a rig craft to exhibit lights and shape of characteristics in or the position described in this rule, part C shall exhibit lights and shapes as closely similar in the characteristics and precision as is possible.